In episode 147 for November 16th, 2020, the latest about source code stolen from US government agencies and private companies, 3 actively exploited iOS 0 days in the wild, and new App Store privacy labels, and what a Biden administration could mean for privacy and cybersecurity. It's time to up your privacy game with Silent Pocket's product line of patented Faraday bags, phone cases, and wallets, which will make your devices untrackable, unhackable, and undetectable. Visit silentpocket.com today and be sure to use discount code SHAREDSECURITY to receive 10% off your order during checkout.
Is your team starting to show signs of fatigue from traditional security awareness compliance training, or from phishing assessments that target them for those teachable moments? As we've seen in recent news, these kinds of training are having a negative impact on corporate culture, and they're really not all that effective. So there has to be a better way. ClickArmor is the first gamified learning platform that helps build a self-defending team through engaging learning challenges and exercises. Its unique lesson templates, built with proven gamification techniques, let people learn and exercise important defensive concepts in a safe and fun environment. Whether you need to quickly deploy a training solution that gets people to stop clicking on things immediately, or you've got your own boring content that needs to be put into a more interesting user experience, ClickArmor can help. So go to clickarmor.ca/sharedsecurity to learn how to build a self-defending team.
It's been a crazy and busy couple of weeks for all of us here at the Shared Security Show. Just as a reminder, be sure to check out our 3-part series on targeted attacks, which we just finished in October, and my 2 interviews with our friends over at startpage.com. Episode 139 is my interview with Alex Kubiak all about startpage.com, which is known as the world's most private search engine. And in episode 146, I speak with Kelly Finnerty about the differences in privacy mindset between Europe and the United States. Check out all of these episodes wherever you like to listen to podcasts or on our YouTube channel. And now, on to the news. Back on November 7th, the FBI sent out a security alert noting that threat actors are using misconfigured SonarQube applications to access and steal source code repositories from US government agencies and private businesses. The FBI stated this has been going on since April of this year. SonarQube is a static code analysis security software that companies use to find security vulnerabilities in their applications. SonarQube apps are installed on web servers which are connected to source code repositories like GitHub. But what happened here is that the FBI found that some SonarQube instances on the internet use default port settings and admin credentials running on the affected organization's networks. So how easy is this attack to pull off? Well, attackers simply scan the internet for SonarQube instances exposed to the internet for default port 9000 and a publicly accessible IP address. The attacker then uses default administrator credentials, in this case the username of admin and the password of admin, to access exposed SonarQube instances which contain source code and scan results showing vulnerabilities. Note that this is not the first time that details have been shared about misconfigured SonarQube instances. Security researchers have been warning about the dangers of leaving SonarQube applications exposed online with default credentials since as far back as May 2018. In regards to fixing this issue, the FBI alert lists several things that companies can do to protect their SonarQube servers, starting with changing the default configuration and credentials and putting the application behind a firewall so that it's not accessible to anyone on the internet. Own an Apple iOS or macOS device, including an Apple Watch? Then you better make sure you update to the latest version of iOS to patch 3 zero-day vulnerabilities that are now being actively exploited. The vulnerabilities disclosed and reported to Apple by Google's Project Zero security team were found in the font parser component and the kernel, allowing attackers to remotely execute code and run malicious programs. As you may be aware, 0 days like these are frequently used by nation-states and others to target high-profile individuals. However, that doesn't mean that all of us normal people are not targets. 0 days can always be abused in situations where the exploit code is made available to the public or potentially sold to criminals in the hacker underground. That's why it's so important to always keep your devices updated so you don't happen to become the next unwanted victim of a zero-day attack. And in other Apple news, privacy labels for apps in the App Store are going to be a thing starting on December 8th. These labels will give you a better idea of what an app does with your data. App developers are now required to self-report this information for each app that is approved for download in the App Store. Otherwise, their app will be rejected and not be available for download. If you're like me, you're probably glad that this election, at least the voting part, not the counting controversy part, is finally over. So you may be wondering, what could a Biden administration mean for privacy and cybersecurity? Well, I spent some time researching this, and here's what I found. First, a federal privacy law will most likely start to take shape since there has been some progress in the last 18 months, with lawmakers from both political parties working on draft proposals. Most privacy experts agree that the Biden administration will continue to facilitate these discussions. And 2 weeks ago, California voters approved Proposition 24, which paves the way for a stricter California Privacy Rights Act, which may also help energize a federal response. From an international perspective, we should see more cooperation from European allies in regards to the new version of Privacy Shield, which governs international data transfers of European data. As for domestically, there could also be changes to the FTC and FCC in regards to privacy and possibly reviving the Obama-era effort to implement net neutrality rules. As for cybersecurity, this will still remain a huge priority for the Biden administration since it's continuing to be a major national security issue with constant threats and attacks from Russia, China, and Iran, and of course the election interference and disinformation campaigns we all know and love. One thing to keep in mind, privacy and cybersecurity will not be at the top of the Biden priority list given the concern about the pandemic and all the other major issues facing this country. So starting with the new administration in January, don't expect much to change until COVID-19 is under control. That's a wrap for this week's show. Visit our website, sharedsecurity.net, for show notes, all previous episodes, and to sign up for our email newsletter. First-time listener of the show, please subscribe wherever you like to listen to podcasts. And if you like this episode, hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week for another episode of the Shared Security Show.